I got them right here, Sweekums.
Bring it to me. Hurry up.
Are you okay?
Yes, I'm fine.
So that's Adam Williams, who is known as Adam the Woo, I believe. That's some lady from Anaheim who knows what she does. He has never been in any type of film work. So he has no film history, not yet at least. But he is famous to a certain degree. He mostly just does video logs in Walt Disney World. He used to do abandoned structures, and he has started kind of like this little fad that we have right now. Jordan the Lion kind of skimmed off him a little bit and became famous because of him. But his father's a pastor, so he's part of the church. So he's a church guy that liked to play video games. Like to play with a video camera when his poor pastor father would rent a VCR for him. He's not poor anymore, though. Well, at least something happens. Anything can happen. The 30s are coming up. So he has money now, but it doesn't mean he's going to keep it. This right here is showing the date right here on June 7th. Hey, sweetie.
Yes, come down.
Is it June 7th?
Today, yes.
Today's June 7th? Okay. I don't know for sure if I'm going to keep watching the same Walt Disney World thing over and over again. But he's obviously being offensive to people. So his last big vlog was of the thing that happened in Florida at the Pulse Club, where like many people were shot down and killed. So that was his little homage to his father in the church about how a bunch of homosexuals were killed in Florida. So he did an homage to that. That was his little message to the church. And if we go over here, we see right next to him is Siberian cult leader that thinks he's Jesus. And then Grim Life is doing Sharon Tate, or Cielo Drive. It's about Charlie Manson. It just keeps going on and on and on and on. I don't think this is based on a lot of roots. I think that he does have Walt Disney World in mind. This, of course, is about cult leaders. And that right there is about Sharon Tate and all that kind of stupid stuff that's been going on. This is all based in roots and truth. So, hi, Cole here. Welcome to the Please Subscribe show. I am going to be planning to go to New York, so I will be vlogging New York City. I also have talked to an actor friend of mine in Los Angeles who's been an actor for a very long time. His name is James Gilbert. And he was on some movie, or he was in some movies. He's actually a film director, but he's also an actor. He owns a film company,
Lone Penguin Production
in Hollywood. I was a good friend of his when I was studying acting at Wesleyan. And James was on Terriers. It's a television show. He played a police officer in Terriers. And he's still out there. He's got an agent. He's out there doing the whole movie star thing and trying to break into Hollywood more so. He's still somewhat famous. But listen, you don't ever doubt this, because back in the day, when I went to school with Bradley Cooper, oh, there's the birds right there up there. We didn't think he was going to be famous either, even when he was an alias. So I want to try to go out there eventually to Hollywood and vlog James' experience for a couple of days. I am also going to New York, and I'm going to vlog the Actor Studio, and I'm going to see if I can get in. I'm going to bring identification and stuff like that and see if they let me in, because it's a very private thing. Adam the Woo couldn't just go in there, knock on the door, and get into the Actor Studio. I don't even think Jordan the Lion could just knock on the door and say, hey, can I? You have to ask permission for that. It's all special stuff. But I'll tell my new Bob Lavelle. I'll tell the Actor Studio that, that I was sidekick to James Lipton, show him all the proof and everything. Also, I want to vlog the Statue of Liberty and also the Freedom Tower, so the new World Trade Center. I was actually there during 9/11 at the time. I saw the buildings fall down. So I want to go back. I'm going to do that. I'm going to hopefully be able to go in through Brooklyn, and I want to try to find at least one good filming location. I don't know if it's going to be, film that, like a Woody Allen or something, a Woody Allen film or something like that, or some type of film that was shot in actual New York. I'm gonna have to kind of look around. I think of Brooklyn's Finest. I'm a big fan of that. I think it's Ethan Hawke's best work. Brooklyn's Finest. I'm pretty sure Fouquet or something, and Anton Fouquet. You know the name. But anyway, I know that he. I'm pretty sure that was shot in New York City. So I've got some big plans, and I'm hoping that you'll come along with me. These are what the birds do to me. Here's a story on the birds. Is I can't remove that nest. It's illegal to remove that because these birds are endangered. So I have to leave these birds there. I'm gonna get a shot of the birds, and I have to leave them there because they're actually you can't just knock down their nest. As you can see right here, that bird has been there for quite a bit of time, and it's a mother bird, and there's fledglings or other birds that are in there, and they just kind of, I'm thinking about getting a cat box and putting the cat box right there. So I probably will get a cat box and do that. But you can see the feathers of that bird right there. It's actually a puppet. We made a puppet bird. It's a animatronic puppet bird. I'll let you know in just a second. Hey, sweetie.
Yes, you don't gotta yell like
Hey,
this.
those are puppet. We made the puppet birds.
What the fuck is that?
The birds that are out there on the balcony, they're puppets. The one that are in the nest.
Muppets.
Remember we made the puppet birds?
No.
You don't remember we made those birds out of... Those are animatronic birds.
Oh. Are you videotaping?
No, it's just on audio. But we made birds.
Yes, we made big birds.
We made robotic birds, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
They were robot birds.
Yes, we did.
They're very hard to make. They took a very long time to construct the actual birds, but they move around. Now, because of what we're doing with drones, and right now, because I've talked to people in Hollywood that know Spielberg and things like that, we were able to make them actually fly and come back around and things like that. So because of how the construction is, we don't have any cameras on them. But that's animatronic. So it's guided. It'll fly off this way. And usually it'll come right back. It takes some time. That's actually animatronic. The noise and everything is real. Isn't that great? So I hear Grim Life Collective It's actually going to Maine. This is from East Sangerville Grange. So they should stop by here in Sangerville to see a really good concert right here. This is the Holiday Craft Fair. So it's a holiday craft fair. And this was in November. Yeah, I was neighbors with Bert Shavitz when he was still alive. He was the owner of Burt Bees. He's the one that gave me a couple of $1 million to put in a barrel so that I can go back there and access more money. But I can't tell you where it's at because Bert doesn't want me to tell you where the money's at. That one's cool too. Trying to think of anything else I have from Maine. I do have a few things from Maine. I'm going to show you. Here, my sewing kit. This is one of my Maine shirts. Got there when I lived in Maine. You can see there's the moose. I lived along the Moosehead Trail, not too far from Bert Shavitz, the owner of Burt Bees. I did go to Bangor and I did vlog Stephen King's house. So this right here is another Maine shirt established in 1820. That's when Maine started. It's one of my Maine shirts right here. I usually wear it like a pajama shirt or something like that. You're okay, sweetie?
It's just fine.
You were trying to figure out what to eat?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You're gonna eat in the shower?
Yes,
Okay, well, when you come out. Remember, it's always important to be Did Bert Shavitz, the owner of Burt Bees, leave me a couple $1 million in blue barrels like in Breaking Bad? He sure did. This is Honest Tea right here. Honest Tea. I was advertising it for the day. Stephen King doesn't know where it's at, though. Now, my vlog of Stephen King's house is on a separate Maine page under Cole Spivey, which has a different amount of traffic and stuff. And eventually I may, for special people, I guess like Patreon kind of people, I could release that footage to you. But I vlogged it a couple of times. My second wife and I vlogged it, a video camera, and then also I vlogged it when I was there writing a book. I also write books. I've written several books. That's actually true. And so I do have that it's floating around there on the old YouTube. But I do plan to go back and vlog it again, and hopefully, if I'm very, very fortunate, I hope to meet Stephen King. Now, I did write about him. I wrote about him in a book that I wrote called Escape from Maine, because I knew when I arrived in Maine, I arrived in Parkman, Maine, and then later I moved to Guilford, Maine, and then later to Dover Foxcroft, Maine. I was there for 17 months. And when I was in Maine, I knew from the first 2 weeks of the first summer, and then later I moved to Guilford, Maine, and then later to Dover Foxcroft, Maine. I was there for 17 months. And when I was in Maine, I knew from the first 2 weeks of the first summer that I had to get out of there. I was like, these summers there was snow that was like up to here. And I was like, I have to get back to Texas. And I did. But that's what the book's about. It's about me getting back to Texas. In the very end of it, I start a family in the book. And I actually have kids and everything. I think 2 kids then. And then I finished up the book and ended up having a 3rd kid. But I'm a believer that 8 is enough when it comes to children. I'm like, 8 is enough. But if I go and have 10 children, then I'm not gonna complain or anything. But 8 is a good number for me personally. I mean, 8 to 10. Now, some people have had like 15 or 20 children, so it's not that big of a deal. But I'm a kind of a believer that having like lots and lots of kids is the right way to go. So if you're out there and you're trying to have 10 kids or whatever, leave a comment. One of my doctors, she was a short little lady. She had 10 kids, and most of the kids were actually sons. So they were mostly boys, and she was a little tiny little doctor lady. She was Seventh-day Adventist. Just kind of letting you see my place. We do music. I know Breck Roll. This is a very good, I'm not going to show it to you in detail, but we do music and we use a product called that right there. So that's basically for vocal recordings. And what I do is when I record and listen to it on my Bluetooth speaker right there, which is so we're also kind of a band too. So if we ever go to Maine, we could play a few of our songs. Like, let's play a country song. Linda's frantically getting ready for the deli.
Well, I mean, you could have made me lunch while I was in the
Okay, I'll make you lunch. So now we're gonna do a cooking show. No, I'm just joking. I'll get back to you later. Thanks for checking in.
something else in there.
I went ahead and made her.
Maybe it wasn't.
But she's refusing. Oh, no, there it is.
Maybe it wasn't.
I made her.
Yes, a freaking yogurt. It was,
Well, you told me to make you something to eat.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I'm missing a container.
A container of what?
Maybe I'll have to discussion.
What kind of container?
There's a container that had like chicken and rice in it. I brought it over to Dustin's, but I'm gonna left it at Dustin's. Or
There's an Ensure Plus.
I don't know.
What's in there? Oh, no, yeah, that's the chicken.
Yeah, I don't know.
You want me to warm it up for you? See the birds?
Yes, birds are pretty.
Now that one in there is my only good container. So if you want a container, we've got plenty right there. I got them right here, Sweekums.
Bring it to me. Hurry up.
Are you okay?
Yes, I'm fine.
Book Escape from Maine can be found by Googling Escape from Maine, Fiction Press, Ash Cole. That's part 6. Here is some poetry. There is a play I wrote called The Pond. It's also found under Ash Cole Fiction Press. Ash Cole is a pen name I use. Right there is Catnappers, a children's story I wrote based on the same structure as The Body by Stephen King. That is the book, Escape from Maine. It's published in parts. That's pages 900 to 967. I've written thousands of poems. That one is right there is called A Day of Rest. Catnappers is a story based on my childhood in Haltom, Texas. It's a fictional story, and some of the characters are based on real characters. The main character in Catnappers is named Jonah. It's based on me. Also, there's a character named Forrester who is based on a friend of mine who passed away in the war in Afghanistan. I think the rumor was he was passed away in Sony Triangle, named on a character or a friend of mine, one of the best friends that I had at the time. It's also based on a few other friends that I had. I chose The Structure of the Body by Stephen King because I thought it was a good way to reveal these childhood characters or these childhood friends that I grew up with. That's what it's about, childhood friends. The story does take place in Haltom City. Some may say it's a Texas version of The Body. Regardless, I wrote it. My name is Cole Spivey. My pen name is Ash Cole. These friends set out in Haltom in the night, and they dress up like ninjas to basically find these catnapper people who are actually... So the boys go out to try to find these, basically like these Satan worshipers. And this was based on true rumor when I was in Haltom City, Texas. And they go and try to find them out. They have firecrackers, and they search out these evil people. They use the firecrackers as a weapon to, in a way, scare off these evil people in Haltom City that are killing cats. That's why it's called catnappers, because they steal these cats, and they don't know where the cats are going. They try to stop them. They're a group of boys, probably middle school or so, around that time. I began the story in the late 90s, and I ended up finishing it after my first... my first marriage, I finished the structure of it. The second marriage, which ended about 2018, I ended up polishing up the last bits of it. I did a reading of it on SoundCloud.
I know. I did too many dishes at work. Oh.
See, the light didn't make it,
I'll worry about
right?
this later.
Because you got to conserve on that thing right there. Got to be very careful. What were you saying? You were saying something about me being a cleaner.
Yes, you'll do dishes and stuff, and I'll cook. I do too many dishes at work. I do like 5 rounds. First round are from the people that left their other dishes, all these nasty pans and, and metal pans, and then I gotta do my metal pans.
But you have to wash
no,
them.
right. Then I gotta do my own pans, and then I gotta do more spoons, and then wash the mats.
Dishwasher, but I'd rather.
No, the day people try to get their dishes done, but they do a lot of production on the sales floor. Yes, light bulb went out. As long as your light bulb and your brain's still working for your new job, then
Why?
it's
A light bulb.
good. Yeah, there's a reason. Okay, please don't eat it.
There's a reason why.
Yes, there's a reason why.
As a reminder. Okay.
It was probably old before you moved in here.
Is there anything that says open that's open now?
No, I don't know.
Everything used to be.
Oh, you were gonna go to CVS to get a light bulb? Or your mom needs to stop by CVS?